Disney has a cartoon called Jake Long, the American Dragon, in which the show's main character, Jake, can shapeshift between human and a dragon. Remember, the Chinese word for dragon is long. There's the popular comedy cartoon from the creator of The Simpsons called Futurama. Several episodes make a reference to the Pope, or rather Space Pope, being reptilian. The popular cartoon and movie series, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, resembles the reptilian Kappa from Japanese legends as mentioned earlier. In the newer version of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the team comes up against the Tyrannodrones, evil reptilian foot soldiers. The villainous Lizard Man and the hordes of Snake Men from the ever-popular 1980s He-Man cartoon. That one just happens to be one of my favorites, by the way. You also got Slith, the arch-enemy of the Thundercats. From the old Nickelodeon cartoon Rugrats, there's Reptar, Tommy's toy dinosaur that would occasionally come to life. There's also Prickle, the dino-humanoid buddy of Gumby. From the old Flash Gordon cartoon and action figures, there's the Lizard Women. Oh, and of course you can't leave out Barney and Friends, a colorful group of talking thunder lizards who the kids just love. And I happen to find it funny that Barney is purple, and purple is the color of British royalty, elite bloodlines who are claimed to have come from the reptilian Anunnaki. Also from the popular anime cartoon Dragon Ball Z, there's the Namekians, a reptilian-looking race that created the 7 Dragon Balls. Also in the mid to late 80s G.I. Joe cartoon, the main villain was known as Cobra. He speaks with a strange hiss, and underneath his mask is the face of a snake. In the more recent G.I. Joe Action Force animated movie, the storyline is about a reptilian race that lived on the surface of the Earth long ago, but was forced underground due to the coming Ice Age. Over time, man evolved into the current state with wondrous technology, and now the reptilian race has returned to the surface to battle the humans for their control.
This is the fishing boat Reptilian. Put me through to the Coast Guard. Hurry, please. This is an emergency. I wish to report a mysterious...
Miguel! What is it? Miguel?
Éramos 4 adolescentes como cualquier otro. Hasta que un día conocimos nuevos amigos en las afueras de la ciudad. Se hacían llamar Plausible. Mis compañeros y yo formamos el Dino Escuadrón Secreto en alianza con los dinoplatívolos del espacio exterior. Y nos unimos todos en la batalla contra Genji Rex y sus malvados tiranos.
Los dinoplatívolos están escapándose, jefe Rex.
¡Sígalos, Casperos!
Ay, ay, ay.
¡Dinoplatívolos!
On the distant planet Valoria, Questar and his people were forced into battle. The power of their step crystal ripped a hole in the fabric of time, sending them backward to prehistoric Earth. Unaware that at the same moment the evil Emperor Krulos was plotting to capture the step crystal with his own grotesque Rulon forces. And so, the battle continues in a new place and time with Dino Riders.
We also have in Marvel Comics, there's the Spider-Man's nemesis, the Lizard, Stegron. There are also the Skrulls, an alien race of reptilian shapeshifters. Badoon, another hostile reptilian alien race. Slither, he's a snake-like mutant and an ally of Magneto. And there's also a race called Clegs, alien mercenaries, in the Judge Dredd universe. There's also Killer Croc, an enemy of Batman. the character Thulsa Doom from Conan the Barbarian. In role-playing and video games, you have the Argonians, a race in the game franchise The Elder Scrolls, Banga, a race of serpent reptilians in the Final Fantasy games. From the Legend of Zelda video game and cartoon, there's the evil lizard being named Lizalfos. From the popular third-person shooter game Unreal Tournament, you have the reptilian character Scourge. We also have Slagra, a reptilian level boss from the game Castlevania. There is the character Lizard Man from the fighting game series Soul Calibur. From the Donkey Kong Country game for Super Nintendo, there's the crocodile humanoid Kremlings. From the role-playing card game Magic the Gathering comes a powerful reptilian race called the Viashino. We also have a race of lizardmen seen again in the RPG fantasy game Age of Wonders. And Drell, a race in the Mass Effect series. There's also lizard folk, kobolds, and Wong Ti from Dungeons & Dragons. We have Reptile, a very notorious character from the Mortal Kombat series. Also Riptor, character from the fighting video game Killer Instinct. There's the first-person shooter series called Turok, which took place in a Lost World scenario where you must fight against dinosaurs and other prehistoric creatures as well as more intelligent reptilian humanoids. And probably most notorious of all, Bowser from the Super Mario Bros. Series of video games. Also, in the film adaptation of Super Mario Bros., Bowser, or King Koopa as he goes by in the movie, is played by Dennis Hopper. In the strangely different movie version, Koopa appears as a human but has the ability to change into a dinosaur. In literature, we find reptilians in the form of Evra Vaughn from Darren Shan's Saga of Darren Shan. There's also the Lady of the Green Kirtle from C.S. Lewis's The Silver Chair. The Race from Harry Turtledove's World War series. Serpentmen from the works of Robert E. Howard, also in Marvel Universe. We have Philip K. Dick, a science fiction writer. In his book Valis, wrote about contact with three-eyed amphibious beings from Sirius and their connection to the Soviets and the Illuminati. Dick also claimed to have connected these creatures to the Nomo, a race of amphibious deities worshipped by the Dogon tribe of Mali. Tom Robbins also included the reptilian theory in his fictional novel Half Asleep in Frog Pajamas. Incredible historical ties and amazing amount of backstory leads the reader through the entire gambit of reptilian lore. There's also Robert Anton Wilson, who writes about the Illuminati in the Illuminatus trilogy and other books. The book Cosmic Trigger 1, Final Secret of the Illuminati, describes his drug-induced experiences with three-eyed beings from Sirius. He is known for stating various forms of conspiracy theory. He also claims to be a high-level initiate of Aleister Crowley's Ordo Templi Orientis. Timothy Leary also claimed to have contact with three-eyed beings from Sirius. The Marvel comic, The Ultimates, written by Mark Miller, used a conspiracy of shape-shifting alien reptiles as the primary villains of the Homeland Security archetype. Miller admits this idea was based on the beliefs of David Icke. Robert Howard, popularly known for his Conan stories, wrote The Shadow Kingdom, which featured shape-changing reptilian organisms. They could and did pass as hominids in the imaginary kingdom of Volusia. This story was published in Weird Tales, August 1929, and republished in the collection King Kull, 1967, by Lancer Books. I am the Lizard King. I can do anything. A famous quote from The Doors frontman Jim Morrison, who was deeply interested in the metaphysical. He was a fan of Carl Jung and a big believer in Native American mysticism. On stage at his concerts, he would imitate a shaman screeching, making animal sounds, and taking mind-expanding drugs. Most shamans became fascinated with one deity. Often in Native American shamanism, it would be a real animal. Jim Morrison was fascinated by the lizard. Morrison believed that the lizard embodied and symbolized a powerful force, the subconscious mind. His conception of the Lizard King has been interpreted by some as a recognition of a profound and transcendent spiritual reality, such as the achievement of nirvana. The Lizard King is meant allegorically. The symbol represents something dormant in all human beings, and that which can be awoken by inward experience. The Lizard King isn't out there, it's within. Here is a reference to Morrison's quote in an episode of The Simpsons after Lisa drinks the contaminated water from an amusement park ride and begins to hallucinate.
We found this one swimming naked in the fermentarium.
I am the Lizard Queen!
The well-known insurance company, Geico, has an intelligent, civilized, British-sounding gecko as its mascot. The gecko is featured quite frequently in Geico's commercials. Geico also featured another popular character in its ad campaigns. The short-lived popularity of this character even sparked off a failed TV sitcom. Of course, I am speaking of the Geico Caveman, an unevolved, ugly Neanderthal just trying to get by in modern society, but always seeming to fail. In a symbolic display, the Geico gecko represents a more evolved reptilian species who seems to have had a jump start in the evolutionary process. Farther advanced in the caveman, he doesn't seem to be at the stage in development that he should be. This echoes the Anunnaki creation myth seen repeatedly throughout history. The beverage company Sobe, as mentioned earlier, is a play on the words of the Egyptian crocodile god Sobek. Sobe has used the lizard motif with its products since day one, but over the past few years, its commercials have driven extra hard into the reptilian brains of consumers, applying extra doses of provocative sexual imagery. Sobe commercials also feature dancing lizards and people changing into lizards. This popular Sobe commercial we showed before shows a guy drinking the new Sobe Life Water, and then he begins to hallucinate. He even sees one of his co-workers turn into a lizard. The Life Water term seems to connect to the life oils that ancient Egyptian priests would rub on initiates, anointing them. In the tradition of the Egyptian god Sobek, this oil was made of melted fat of crocodiles and sometimes combined with hashish oil or other psychoactive plants and herbs, causing the initiates to hallucinate.